the American founders built on the example that the English had set in 1688-89. They expanded in some ways. I mean, England still had an established church and a test act limiting public office to members of the Church of England. The founders would have none of that. They did not want a national established church. They provided in the text of the original Constitution there shall be no religious test for public office. They were aware that they lived in a nation of 13 states with considerable religious diversity because of the character of their founding and the kind of settlements they attracted. In the First Amendment to the Constitution, they said Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. That meant it couldn't establish a church. It also couldn't interfere with the established churches that existed in some states as late as the 1830s, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So they advanced, I think, considerably farther than the English did in 1689 on that issue. They kept things like trial by jury, right against self-incrimination. That was in the Declaration of Right. Protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. That was also something that was in there. No excessive bail or bond shall be held. King James kept some of his political opponents off the scene by imprisoning them and imposing a £100,000 bail, which only the very richest people in the whole kingdom could have afforded. And the founding fathers in America imitated that. But they also adapted things that were particular to their own experience. And of course, they set up a federal government that was different from the English government. Rather than have the king and parliament, they had the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch, and set out with various powers elected in different ways, more in the way of formal checks and balances in the federal Constitution than in the unwritten English Constitution or British Constitution as it existed in the late 18th century.
And where did those ideas come from? Did they bring other influences in, separation of powers and so on?
Well, they had read Montesquieu, who was a great admirer of the English system, but advocated something somewhat different. They read, James Madison in preparation for the Constitutional Convention, reread the classics on the Greek and Roman republics. They read Machiavelli. They read about the Florentine Republic and the other republics of Renaissance Italy. They read about the history of the Netherlands, the United Province of the Netherlands, which was a republic, the Swiss Federation. They grappled with the problem, as Madison famously did in Federalist 10, of can a republic govern not just a small territory like Venice or the Netherlands or Florence, but a large territory. Many had said, citing the Roman Republic, which becomes an empire, which doesn't remain a republic, that you couldn't have a republic ruling over a large territory. And the framers of the Constitution tried to set up a framework that would work for governing a large territory. And George Washington believed that the United States would one day extend from the Atlantic to the Pacific, would be a country of 100 million people, and would be one of the great powers of the world. Here we are, 303 million, and the greatest power in the world.